Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Nazim. I'm the marketing guy, and here I'm setting. Hey guys, what's going on? My name's
setting or closing.
Yeah. Right. Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Nazim. I'm the marketing guy. Here I'm sitting with Ben Ouattara, a high performance and a mindset coach. I personally have known Ben for 2-3 years now. We've had some projects together, and I'm visiting today him in Zurich, Switzerland, and we decided to use this as a great opportunity to record a video together. And I was kind of like thinking, we were both thinking what kind of video we could record, and given his expertise in high performance and people's ability to stick to something and actually finish it and complete until the end, and my abilities and skills in marketing and sales. And I kind of came up with this idea that how important it is in a coaching consulting program, and I assume that a lot of you watching this video are running coaching consulting programs, how important it is to do both things, to make sure that your clients really you keep your clients super accountable in your in Ben's high performance and mindset ways, that they really finish the program and get great results with it, and how much that impacts your sales down the line with the same clients or even other clients, which would be more so my domain. And actually one of the biggest reasons, Ben, why I got this idea was because when I woke up today to get my first cup of coffee in the morning, I noticed you were doing your coaching call with your people in your group, and I was quite amazed, right? With how much your energy you do that, and like you're borderline screaming, right? Like in a good way, right? With so much energy. But also on top of that, so that was cool. But on top of that, like yesterday we spoke about the fact that you are going to create, or you've already 90% done with this new platform you're creating specifically for your program. And I asked you, why not Facebook, Instagram, or Thinkific, Kajabi, and all the others that 95% of coaches out there are using. And you said, for XYZ reasons, that because these apps are not engaging enough, right? For example, Kajabi, right? You kind of like, you watch the videos, but what about collaboration with your peers? Facebook is the opposite, right? You can collaborate with the peers, but there's no content. You can't upload your coaching videos on Facebook. I mean, and then kind of like expect them to be private. So you kind of like want both of the best world plus live chat. So to me, I was like, this is amazing, because you're basically creating so much environment. You're putting so much emphasis on creating the environment and delivery systems in your program to make sure that your clients get results. And this sort of like correlated back to a consulting call I had with another client 3 weeks ago, where I was trying to do with them like a part of my spiel, where I basically help my clients increase their customer lifetime value by creating basically an offer ascension funnel, right? Like, so I say, you have a program X, right? And the easiest way to increase your revenue would be to create a program Y and a program Z, or make sure that people keep retaking this program X for a long time. So instead of trying to figure out how to get more leads, figure out how to basically offer more things, right, more effectively to the same client, and preferably, obviously, ethically, without overly abusing it. Keep that client for a long time, because I mean, we all know that it doesn't take 3 weeks to develop a habit. I think it takes like many months or even years to get something really good at something. And if you offer that service at a great price and with a great delivery and coaching, it's awesome if your client stays with you and you get to make more money on your end. So basically, but you can't do that. And the problem with that client was, and I'm nearing my intro, which is super long now. But like one of the biggest problem was that, okay, let's create a program and let's upsell people. And the client told me, yeah, we already tried that. And I said, what happened? People were not upselling. And I said, why? Because, I mean, kind of like privately told me that they weren't having really the best results in the first program. And I was like, well, sorry, I can't help you there. You know? So I think this is where your expertise in the domain comes into place amazingly, because you're all about amazing delivery. You're all about making sure, being kind of like on your client's ass, that they really stick to the program till the end and really do it and complete it properly. And why don't you take over from here?
Okay, cool. Well, you brought up so many important points, and there's sometimes something, it just reflects, right? Because sometimes just because I told you something, or you perceive something and you told me, oh wow, like actually, like this stands out, and then it like actually dawned on me, it's like, oh yeah, that's actually a process. But sometimes you do certain things for a certain while and then you don't even realize anymore.
Yeah.
So one of the main aspects of transformation, personal development and business development comes from personal development, because most business problems at the end, when you look back, is personal problems that reflect in your business. But when you look at personal growth and personality growth, it all has to do with your environment. You're a product of your environment, but your environment is a product of you. So I know that, if I want to coach someone, I can't just focus on content, but context is very important. And for example, I know that the people in my course, they feed off my energy. If I come and say, you know what, today we're going to talk about this, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that, it's different than when I say, listen, when I do it, it's something that you have, because this is the thing, is where focus goes, energy goes. So I need their attention. How can I grab their attention? Through my own energy. So that's something that people feel when you coach. Now, it's not only my energy, there's also another environment. What is the coaching environment? How are the peers? What is the platform? What are the tools you're using to help someone move forward? And that's why I think that you cannot limit yourself to just one element as a coach. I think that, almost every kind of coaching, whether it's fitness, whether it's business, whatever it is, even if you want to learn a language. I actually have, Carl, he used to be, working for me, my team. Shout out to Carl Weinmeister, the man. And he's now a coach, so he's coaching students. And he said that, in school, he's helping them, tutoring classes, basically. And at the end, he said that most of them only have emotional and mental, limitations. So he's not teaching them math. He's actually creating an environment with other students where, they actually can put the attention on where the attention needs to be to actually get good results. So I've always looked at, I know it's good to build on your strength, but you also develop on your weaknesses if you look at them. So that's why I looked at every time that, I had someone, for example, in class that wasn't following along. I was explaining something and I felt that, okay, others are getting it. Why is this person not getting it? And I used to get frustrated at it until I would always look at it and ask myself, okay, how am I the limitation here? How am I the problem? What can I improve so it gets better for this one person? And as soon as I can improve it for that one person, actually I improved it for everyone, even those who didn't complain or who actually said, no, I get it. And now you know what? It makes even more sense for me now. So I realized that every single time I felt there's a limitation, I felt there's a problem, if I put my attention there and I use it as a way to actually improve it, now I've just upgraded everything. That's why I saw, okay, there's a limitation here, there's a limitation here. How can I, and that's the thing. I think that if your intention is really on getting the best result for the person you're trying to help and not limiting yourself to the idea you had of how you're creating this product. Yeah, I said, I'm going to sell them this product and, I delivered it. Transaction. Yeah. It's not a relationship. And when you're talking about, okay, you have, customer lifetime value, product 1 to product Z, basically we're talking about a relationship. And in a relationship, in any type of relationship, is based on trust. Trust is built through time. So if you spend more time with someone, then they trust you more. You know them better. And it comes also from asking questions. So that's why what I did is I actually asked questions. I said, you know what? I took some time out, and people that went through my program, I always do at the end of the coaching, like a summary interview, review. But then I said, you know what? Even after 6 months, after 12 months, you know what people do a lot of times? And these are things that I build step by step, right? But a lot of times people say, let me follow up and say, hey, how you doing? What are the things you're struggling with? Maybe I can help you. Immediately, you want to do that. And then I said, you know what? Let me try to do the opposite. So I send out voice notes and I said, not what are you struggling with? What were all the successes that you had this year? And what are all the things you're proud of? I would love to know, what are the things you've achieved? Some people sent me voice notes of 14 minutes, I just went for a walk and I put my headphones on and I listened to it. And it's just I know almost all the stories. And then I listen to it, and then sometimes I say, yeah, you know, but sometimes I miss this and I miss that and I wish that. And all of this gives you ideas for the B, C, and D. So you don't even have to sit there and think about something. The more you listen, the more you have. And that, I think, that's the basis of every relationship, you know, any partnership. So I think that when I look at some coaches or people who are trying to build a business who are struggling in some regards, it's because they're just looking at a sales as a transaction, and they don't look at it as a start of a relationship, you know. And I think that's just a different approach and a different mindset.
Right. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on?
That's true. You know, that's true, and this is why I wanted to record this video, because these two things go hand in hand so much. You know, because so many people, they're focused basically on trying to get the first sale, and it's almost become a badge of honor. Like, hey, I sold someone $10,000 course, but it's like, is that what that person needed?
Yeah.
Or is that $10,000 course structured in such a way that, you know, the client is going to get the full result, the full benefit from it? You know, like the sales and marketing culture, and I'm kind of like the person who promotes it most of the time, but it's like so overly glorified that, like, what was the last time you basically met like a coaching or consulting delivery coach? There's tons of marketing and sales coaches, but what was the last time, you know, like a delivery course was actually promoted to you? Like how to make sure your clients have amazing results. How do you make sure that you engage your clients the most? No, you have to figure out on your own, because you can't put basically a sales figure on it. But I'm saying in this video that you can. You can, right? And if you don't figure out the delivery stuff early on, if you don't come from a place, this altruistic place, coaching your clients, your business is not going to be basically, it's not going to exist for long. Or, that's number one, or meaning you'll get bad reviews and all that stuff, or the extent that you're lacking in delivery, you will have to basically put as much, if not more, energy on the front end on marketing and sales to hyper compensate for it. This is why, like, if things done correctly, like delivery stuff done correctly, the offer ascension funnel built the right way, you can be on a path to make 7 figures by enrolling literally 6 clients a month, 7 clients a month. You can make 7 figures with it, because ideally, like a good half or even majority of your clients should stay with you for another couple of more program extensions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a different mindset, you know, because I've been observing some coaches that literally, I mean, or people who've been taking coaching formats for like literally 30 years. I joined this program and it's like a mastermind or whatever it is, but I've been there for 30 years, and literally they pay like, I don't know, 50,000, 100,000, and they just stay there. So it's like, okay, but what is it that makes someone stay? And then you just have to change the mindset around that. When you just like, okay, hold on, how can I actually make sure? Because when I started, and I started literally coaching 4 years ago, 4 years ago, really getting into the coaching industry. And I've heard all these beliefs that people expressed, and I didn't want to accept certain things, you know? And I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Because people were telling me, you know what? That was where video courses were still this stuff, you know, like the coaching style now with Zoom and all this stuff. There wasn't, you know, not many people were doing that. I think no one was doing it. They had seminars, live seminars, or, you know, video courses. But people told me, you know what? People buy these courses and only 10 to 20% of them really actually do it.
And that's the way how it is.
Exactly. You can't change it. Just accept it. Yeah. And they told me one thing. They said, you're not responsible for them following through. You delivered and you did that. I literally heard it from like 5 to 6 very successful coaches, but they were not mindset. And I said, literally what I'm coaching people is how to implement knowledge, because everyone reads books and they don't do what's in the book. Literally my motto is, knowledge is not power, just doing is power. In German is machen ist Macht, you know? So I'm like, I refuse this. And you know what? Maybe you have all this expertise and stuff like that. And maybe I don't know how to do it, but I'm gonna try. And I need to figure it out. Because if I do figure it out, this is a gold mine for everyone. Everyone wins. And I believe that somehow, because some coaches out there, and I talk to a lot that are maybe in the beginning also, who have this resistance towards selling. They have the resistance on putting certain prices on. And they're like, this is a limiting belief. And I'm like, it's not always a limiting belief. Because sometimes you know that you're actually selling something that doesn't work. And something inside of you is stopping you, and you think you have to suppress that because you just have to overcome your fear of selling. No, I believe that if you do have skills and you know how to help people and they do get results, but you still feel like you're undervaluing yourself, then you have a limiting belief. But if you actually can provide results and no, it's not a limiting belief. Become a better coach and get results and then increase your prices. That's what I think.
Man, like I've seen so many times like sales reps just going from like being the top salesperson in the company to being like the worst or not selling anything. Just because the client he sold, he finds out that this client is not having amazing results. Now, these big business owners have basically found a way to trick that, where they're feeding their sales reps only with kind of like cream of the crop kind of like results. And, I get it. So it's kind of like brainwashing their salespeople that it's amazing. People are only ever having amazing results. But realistically speaking, like per industry standards, if like 15-20% of your clients, and this is common knowledge, 15-20% of your clients are having amazing results, that's like considered good. How is it even good? Because then in that case, the problem is either in your delivery, or another problem with people like, I'm not going to be afraid to say it, like with people like Dan Locke and other figures. The program itself might be okay, but because the greed takes over and you start selling this stuff to people who are not qualified and who are not in the mental capacity to properly like go through this thing, and you keep upselling this person, kind of like stop beating him, he's already dead. Like you keep upselling more and more hopes and dreams while knowing that this person is not qualified. Of course, that's going to create some really horrible scenarios. But this is really the greed, kind of like doing the bad deed, right? Because of greed and because of, again, being sales and marketing driven. Sales and marketing is glorified. 10K club, 100K club, 7-figure club, 8-figure club, 9-figure club. Because it's a badge of honor, things like, is this person really going to benefit from this sale? Is this person qualified to be in this program? Become not even like the thing of second or third importance, become thing of less importance. Right, and plus add on top of that the commonly accepted knowledge in the industry that it's okay that only 15-20% of people. It's a vicious circle, you know.
And actually, what I would like to add to this is, I think that it's always, in my opinion, it's always duality, right? I think that the solution is always a marriage of two sides. Because on one hand, you have people who are like too altruistic and they feel like, I don't want to charge it, I just want to help everyone. And it's like, if you don't charge anything, you're not helping anyone because they're not putting the attention and focus on it. And also, you're not holding yourself accountable. Because I know some people, it's a cop-out, because if they don't ask for nothing, then no one can expect anything. As soon as you ask for a certain number, now you're like, okay, I need to deliver as a coach if you have this, conscience. But on the other hand, you have the other extreme where it's just about sales, and as soon as you sold, the job is done and you don't have to deliver in the back end. So I think that once you have a combination of the two, and like you said, to be able to assess it is also with experience. There's so many people, they are shocked, because I do a lot of the sales calls myself and I want to know who comes into my program. And then sometimes I listen to them and I'm like, this is not the right coaching for you. And then, or this is not the right time for you, or this is not, and then they're like, yeah, no, but, and I explain to them why, and they're shocked because they're like, you know what, I really respect you because, you could have sold me. I was actually at the verge of, because they're desperate sometimes, and they're looking for a solution, and you can just find the right psychological triggers to get that person to believe that this is the solution, even though it's not. But I know I'm going to be sitting there in a program because I coach people directly in my bigger program. And I'm going to be sitting with this person week after week knowing that they can't even absorb what I'm giving them right now. And I don't want that problem. That's why it's just like sometimes when you have salespeople and they just don't care and they're just like, at the end, I'm the one dealing with that person.
And this kind of attitude is frowned upon in the industry. It's like, you're taking your own sales calls, bro. Like, that's limiting.
They would tell you
know?
it's a limiting belief.
Yeah, it's like, why? I mean, look, at some point, I get that you need to scale. When you want to scale past a certain point, you will need to start delegating and giving the sales calls to more people.
Yeah.
But then it's your responsibility and duty to set really, really strong standards and qualification points for who they're allowed to sell in the program and who not. But guess what? When you do that, that also kind of slows you down, doesn't it? Because if you have 10 sales calls and you really, you know that only like 4 or 5 of them qualify, but then out of those other 4 or 5 who are not qualified, 1 or 2 just willing to pay you money. It's a very big sort of like it lures you in. It's like a big temptation.
Yeah.
This guy comes and says, $10,000, take it. Just take it. I want you, like, I've watched a couple of your videos, and it's really easy to be like, okay, well, this person really wants to work with me, and you don't qualify them as much. Like, greed takes over. If it's your business, you want to make money. If it's a sales rep, it's an extra $1,000 or $2,000 easy commission that sales rep can make by just saying, okay, fine, this person is practically sold already. Let me just accept the payment. But what happens after? What happens after, like you said, the person is on the coaching call? Well, that's not your problem anymore, man. That person, it's his own fault. He wanted to come on the program, or the best argument of them all. 100 people do the program, 10 of them get amazing results, and then the rest 90 are basically blamed for not doing the work because these 10 did the work. But it's also like, but is this true? That you just give them, like, is this how a coaching program works? Because it's called a coaching program for a reason. It's not called, I'm selling you information, and then, whether you do it or not is dependent on you. And then you can say, yeah, well, information works because these guys implemented it, and it worked. No, it's a coaching program. It's a consulting program. It's not just about information, but it's also about, like, helping them to implement it. And it is your fault. I mean, look, if majority don't implement or don't get results, I mean, like, look, I know you've been doing this for long enough. I've been doing this for long enough to know that sometimes there's some lazy people. There's some crazy people, or people who have. But
then it would be 90% implement and 10 don't. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If it's that ratio, then obviously there's something missing. And I think at the end of the day, me, like, I say, everyone is going to do and what they want to do. They're going to run their business the way they want to run their business. I mean, if you can bring out, look at something like Mac or Apple, like if they just start, putting things out and they don't they don't work and they keep breaking down and this and that. I say, but we marketed well and we made a lot of money on the front end. Are they still going to exist in 5 years or 10 years and be relevant? So you can choose to do whatever you want. But I think that for me, it's almost non-negotiable that I have to care deeply about the promise and be behind it. And I think that sometimes I feel that I even over-deliver, but I think that there's a big difference if you over-deliver out of abundance or out of lack. Because I think that some people, they feel that they're not good enough, so they charge and then they're like, shit, I need to over-deliver. Because I even know this because before I was working in the film industry, and I know people who have, film production or do editing or whatever, and they will just work 10 extra hours on the product because they don't believe that they're actually worth what they're being paid, and almost like imposter syndrome, right? Or you could be like, it's nothing for me to add this on top. It's nothing for me to create. You didn't even pay for this environment and then have accountability partners and stuff like that. But because I know, first of all, I'm experimenting a lot. I'm trying out new things. While I'm trying them out, I had a program, and I remember that actually when we worked together, in the beginning, I created a program before we started working, like literally a month before. And I just experimented. And I sold a year-long program that I priced at a price point that a month later was.
When you met me, yeah.
That's what I was charging for 2 months.
Yeah.
And they had it for a year. Later on, it's actually the price for 1 month, and they had it for an entire year. And I remember you told me one thing. Because I was like, okay, but what do I do with them? And they were like 4 people before I shut down the sales and then we transferred to the other. So the 4 people who bought it. And you said, you have 2 choices. Either you tell them, I have this new program, this doesn't exist anymore. So either you want to jump to this, or I refund you your money. Or you said, hey, this is what I promised, and I'm going to stick to my commitment and do the whole year. The second you said it, I knew, I gave you my word, and it doesn't matter if I changed my mind. I said, I'm doing this 1 year coaching for this price. And at the moment where I sold it, I thought until later on I realized, oh man, wait, I can actually do it much better. But I did the entire year. I didn't miss 1 session. I benefited a lot because I learned, because later on the other program was shorter and I had like now 1 year testimonials and the experience of coaching someone for a year and everything. But I remember till now, these 4, regularly, they tell me, and especially one of them became a coach now. And he says, you know what? Now that I'm actually coaching and he has his own online academy, he said, I actually realized the value of what you did and how big that was. Because I realize how sometimes, you know, like even I have a 3-month program and now I have a 2-month and I still have to do the 4 extra weeks. How 12 months of this to just give it out for something. And it's like, I'm not doing it for the money, you know. Obviously, I want to make money. I want to grow the business, but it's not only for that, you know. So I believe that if you're a coach, just because you're like, oh, you can make money with this and you can do that, I think you're in the wrong industry, because you really have to enjoy it, have a passion for it and love it. But it's not, oh, I love it, I don't need to make no money from this. You know, I think it's really like a marriage of these 2 things. If, and that's just my opinion, you want to do this for a long time. Some people, they say, hey, you know what? It's a good opportunity, couple of years, I make some money. If there's something else, I do that. Okay, you know, it's everyone's choice. But I just believe, and especially if I'm looking for a coach, and I see a lot of people out there that are looking for coaches, because there are many people out there right now, because of the internet, because of social media, because of the tools that we have, there are more and more people that are able to offer their knowledge out there. And I think it's a great thing. But you also have a lot of people who are not qualified. So just because someone has like great videos or great social media and everything, you know, just really try to look at the person, their values and how they deliver. And even sometimes maybe try like a small coaching, because I have smaller coaching programs where sometimes I'm actually feeling like I'm over delivering tenfold. But if you look at it like the beginning of a relationship, if you meet a girl and like on the first date, like the way you're behaving or she's behaving in the first couple of meetings is going to tell you, is it going to get probably better in the future or less?
Right.
Usually people over deliver in the beginning, right? And then it becomes less.
So if it's bad in the beginning,
exactly, like where's it going to go? So yeah, that's kind of
yeah. But again, guys, the biggest point of this video is really, and we're kind of like ranting here about the you know, the coaching consulting industry, the online business industry. But like the biggest point is that if you think, the biggest point is actually this. The biggest point is there are 2 great reasons to over deliver. You know, you know, coming from a good place to your coaching consulting clients. Now, and number 1 is because that generally makes you a good person. But number 2, and probably maybe the reason you'll be more interested in it, is because it's profitable. It's really profitable. It's a lot more profitable than not delivering and then kind of like focusing even more on like the front end sales of things.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually going to take a step further and say that you will, to make the same amount of money with delivering and then just upselling your clients, is going to take actually like 4 times less energy. And your clients will love it better than if you said, no, I don't want to deliver this thing and let me just focus on the front end. Because you know what focusing on the front end means? It means more advertising budget. It means more employees. It means more overhead. It means more videos that you have to record, like more, right?
Yeah.
And this is actually delivering great work to your clients and then focusing on delivering great work and upselling is the lazy man's or lazy woman's way of doing things. And it's great, and it's a great experience for your clients. Like it's win, like no matter how you look at it.
It's crazy you just said that. It's crazy you just said that because, you know, I recently, there was this, I think one book is called Giftology. And then they're just talking about how, making gifts, and it's like talking about corporate, sometimes they would even, gift people things for like $50,000 or whatever. But, like when big businesses are closed, that they know that it's an investment, right? Yeah. But it has nothing to do with the actual project. It's just something separate. So sometimes you'd be like, okay, you know what? I would spend all this money on sales, or all this money on ads, or all this money on the team or whatever. So I'm going to take that money and give it to the top client and just give them like a gift. And then it's almost like psychologically now they feel like they owe you something. And then when you make an offer or whatever, and they feel like, oh, okay, I'm being treated nicely or whatever. Some people give discounts because to them it's like, okay, you know what? I give a discount, but that money that I'm discounting, that's also what I would spend on ads or whatever. So it's an investment, right? So if you look at it that way, it's not really a discount. But then I'm like, okay, if you're thinking of giving someone a gift as over-delivering or giving someone a discount, whatever, the biggest gift you can give someone is to over-deliver on the promise you made, because that's why they came to you. That's what they want. Like, when it's someone's birthday and you want to gift them something, sometimes people give them something that they would want to have. But the main thing, you got to find out what this person likes, what this person wants, and then give that to them. These people came to you because they have a problem, something they want to solve. That's their wish. So if you can help them to achieve this in a short amount of time by over-delivering, by whatever effort you can put in, this is the biggest gift you can give them. And from there, the relationship started and we're going to take it to the next level. Like you said, if you don't do that, then you have to find new people. You always have like this burned, like grass that you can't plant anything on. So it's like you got to move away. And then you put you think that you're saving time because you don't want to put more energy to figure out how can I make this work? How can I optimize and all that stuff? Like you said, this energy, time, mental energy, emotional energy, resources, money, you're going to invest to constantly, and then reputation. That's the thing. Like if someone is really convinced and they got results, longevity, they will tell other people. There is no marketing like referrals, because people trust people they trust, but you have to, as a stranger, all the time have cold leads.
Man, it's like if your business is not getting, this is a great point, if your business is not getting referrals, you're not running probably a good coaching consulting, or you're not running a good service company. Like point blank. Like I personally, people always ask me, like, are you running ads, Paul? I never run ads. Have you seen me ever run ads? No. Maybe like 2-3 years ago, I spent like $1,000 or $2,000 or something like that. Well, okay, it largely also comes down to my business model, where I don't take on like 100 coaching clients, and it's not like a monthly ritual. But even then, still, like 99% of my clients straight. Like you came as a referral as well, right? Like back in the days. And then you sent me a bunch of referral clients as well.
I actually saw a testimonial.
Okay.
So it's almost like a referral.
Yeah. But then you sent me a lot of referrals.
Yeah.
Man, I think like 30-40 grand of referrals. Like I owe him a great steak dinner at this point.
Yeah,
a couple of them,
results speak for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
As soon as you encounter someone that asks you, hey, how did you do it? I got it there, and especially if people see the transformation, you don't even, that's what I realized. When referrals come to you, they're already sold.
Yeah.
Basically, they just need to know the details and everything like that, but you don't have to pitch them anything.
Yeah.
Right? So actually, I think with referrals, there's also strategies behind it, because, some people, they just don't ask for referrals and people just don't think about giving referrals. So that's also something, right? Yeah. But, I think that that's a good signal. And you know what? I started doing the conversation calls, like testimonials, client testimonials after they're done with the program, and I just do like a call. And in the beginning, it was okay. We need these for the website and for so other people who are interested can see this. But I want to tell you very honestly, I started doing them for myself because. During the coaching, you get feedback here and there because people tell you how they're making progress, but that's literally like a summary. And every time, and I'm going to tell you actually a trick that I do in my mind, but every time I had like these calls on Zoom, it's like 20-30 minutes, and I'm going through the questions, this, that, and they're telling me everything that has changed in their lives. And usually, you know what I did? Because they know they're being recorded into interview and everything, right? So we finish the 20 minutes, and then we press stop. And that's when they really tell me, what they want to tell me. As soon as I stop the recording, yeah, and Ben, you know what? I wanted to thank you again. You changed my life. And I'm like, shit. So afterwards, I didn't stop recording. You know, I'm like, okay, we're done with this part. So, you know, and they're like, Ben, man, really? And I'm just like, you know what, this last part, can I use it? You know, but then it was just like for myself, because I was like, this is the feedback you're getting. And the more of this feedback you're getting, because I'm saying that for a lot of people who have this resistance towards sales or who feel like, I don't know it, I come off too salesy, but that's when you come from lack. Then you feel like, oh, I got to close anyone, even if it's not the right person. This feeling of resistance is natural. I believe it, and I think you should listen to it. But when you really know that what you're doing is changing lives, is really helping people, how can you have resistance towards closing them and selling? And when I was later on, because I did the testimonial calls on Zoom, and when I did the sales calls or the closing calls, you know, the introduction calls, also on Zoom. So I kind of, the first time I saw someone before they come in my program, literally, I imagine this is like a testimonial call from the energy. So I'm already imagine this person already went through my program. I already helped them. They changed everything. And with that energy, I go into the conversation, you know, and that kind of helped me because it's like I started from that frame, you know, and there's no more like resistance towards really, you know, because it's like the start of a relationship and I'm helping you. And then, you know, I hear so many people because it became like almost like a quote, you know, it's like, no, you know, it's just an exchange of energy and you're helping people. And these are things people say, but they don't really internalize it. They don't really see it that way. They actually subconsciously feel like, you know what? I don't really have, you know, these great results from people. I'm just going to tell myself that so I can feel better in sales. And then it becomes a gimmick. So I think that if you're really authentic, I believe that it's a good thing that you are more people out there that can share their knowledge and help others. And it's a great way to, you know, to exchange value, but it can also go the wrong way. And that's what we're trying to, you know, just raise awareness on.
Yeah, and that's the point of the video. I mean, I don't have anything else to add on. If this video hasn't convinced you that you should focus more on delivery, and sales will come. I mean, look, when you focus on delivery, you don't even have to sell. All you have to do is just make a suggestion. You know, hey, would you like to kind of like find out more about this program? And again, there's always like imagine everything in life. I always imagine everything in life as a scale, right? Like and you can tip the scale to balance it one way or another. And if you're lacking in delivery, you'll always have to go super extra hard on sales and marketing. And you know, again, we know what happens when you go extra hard on sales and marketing. Number one, you have to raise your advertising costs and all that stuff, overhead costs on employees. But you'll also have to deploy predatory sales techniques and stuff like that, you know, that is quite horrible if you ask me. So if you want to run a heart-centered business, a business that you feel good about, then you'll have to tip the scale to kind of like balance out and even out by basically going harder or like focusing more on the delivery side of things, which is, again, it's amazing. Your clients love it. It's more fulfilling for you. And again, as a warning, in the beginning, it might feel like this is going to slow you down because, again, it's energy, right? Yeah. It's your time. And if you're going to take a bit of time off sales and marketing and focus there, like for a short period of time, you're pretty much reducing your marketing and sales efforts. But in the long term, and when you look at revenues and earnings per client, it's 2 times, 3 times better because yes, you might take away from marketing and sales on the front end, but you'll add like in a good way, disproportionately more on the back end sales. And back end sales, like I don't know if you've been in business for any for at least a couple of years, you know that back end sales is where it's at. Go to any conference, go to any whatever, like where people jump and scream, and you know, like any one of those conferences, right? You know that when they're leaving the stage, there's people waiting for them for the back end sales, and this is kind of like a random example of it. But yeah, like
you actually reminded me of something that I think is also I want to add to this. Number one, I think that a lot of people, they look at, they just look at sales funnels, right? So they look at, okay, this is the lead, blah, 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 and the sales funnel ends with the sale, right? And you don't think about the funnel continues actually after that.
Yeah.
And I've heard this once, someone said, they call it a closing call. But actually it's an opening call because you're opening up the relationship,
That's
right?
it, man.
So, and it's, if you think like that, if you think, and I remember one thing you told me in the beginning, when we were working on my funnel, right? And we were talking about ads and scaling, and it was like, we need to optimize the funnel, because if we now have, for example, you know, from like 10 leads that come in, only 2 are like qualified leads. There might be a problem in the funnel. Maybe the video, maybe the questionnaire, something in one point is maybe attracting the wrong people. So we actually need to eliminate that. Then maybe, because, you know, like maybe the sales process is not as good, you know, so you got to become better at selling, at you know, asking the right questions. So there's so many elements that once you fix them, you can then scale. Because if you're trying to scale something that doesn't work, you're also scaling all the mistakes. So you will have more people who are the wrong people you're attracting. You will have more of these problems in the big. So if we look at the entirety of the funnel as the delivery of the product is also part of the funnel, and now you only have 10% of people who make it and 90% who don't, and now you start to scale that. You're scaling the negative reviews, you're scaling the problems, you're scaling all of that, right? So if you look at all of this as a business funnel, like you said, yes, it's going to take some time now. Okay, time off here, let me fix this. But when you start to scale it now, that's when you exponentially grow it.
Yeah, agreed. You can't build a castle on a flawed foundation. So, yeah. I mean, I've got nothing. Now I have I've got nothing else to add. So.
All right, cool, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have anything you'd like to add to this, maybe you can write it on the comments below. We're also going to link my channel, Nazim's channel. I don't know where we're going to upload this, so you can find each one of us. I usually do content in German, but I also have content in English. So yes, I wish you a beautiful day, and always remember, go from integrity. Grow from integrity. And I believe that there is no limitation on how big you can become. It's not a choice between either you are altruistic or you're business savvy and you have to be a shark. I believe that these are concepts that are outdated, and there are cliches. I see a lot of people who really want to help people, but at the same time they're business savvy. So it's not, the one doesn't exclude the other.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, the bell button. Comments, check out our social links in the comments below or in the description below, and see you in the next video. Thanks.